Why Hollywood is making a comeback in China, and it's not just all about Barbie and Greta.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is enterprise AI. And by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
I'm David Brancaccio. First, a key part of inflation calming down has been lower oil prices for consumers trying to run households and inflation fighters at the Fed. This has been welcome news, but not for investors in oil companies. Today, there's news that Saudi Arabia's state-owned firm Aramco became the latest oil company to release quarterly results damaged by low prices. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer reports.
COVID hesitation.
Aramco's second quarter net profits were down almost 40% from the same time last year. That's not too surprising considering oil prices are much lower this year. The cost of oil soared in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. Other oil companies like British Petroleum, ExxonMobil, and Shell also reported lower earnings. But OPEC announced early this summer it was cutting production in an effort to raise prices. So oil prices are expected to rise during the second half of this year. That should boost oil company stock, making investors happy. But lower energy prices have helped drive down overall inflation this year, making consumers' lives easier and helping the Federal Reserve fight inflation. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Crude oil is down 1.2% this morning, below $82 a barrel. Stocks, S&P and NASDAQ futures are up in the 2 to 0.3% range. The summer of 2022, last summer, domestic air travel had rebounded as COVID receded, and even though there were crushes at European airports, a key part of that was staff shortages. But here in the summer of 2023, passengers have returned in full force to international flights, especially between the U.S. and Europe. Here's Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman.
Last year, consumers' COVID hesitation about getting on a crowded plane, breathing recirculated air, has basically vanished, says Lindsay Roschke at public opinion firm Morning Consult. And with most COVID-related restrictions on Americans entering other countries now gone,
the share that say that they're going to travel internationally in the next year is up about 9 points. And it definitely is stealing some share from domestic travel.
That's hurting low-cost carriers that fly primarily domestic routes, including JetBlue, Spirit, and Southwest, says analyst Chris Raitt at Third Bridge. But the shift is benefiting Delta, American, and United, which have more international routes.
Fares hit record levels for this summer from the U.S. to Europe.
Raitt says those airlines are also catering to better-heeled travelers.
The mainline carriers have, for the most part, all reconfigured their cabins to the premium leisure traveler, those who are a bit more affluent, who are willing to spend, say, an extra $100 for extra legroom on a flight.
Airfares overall are down about 8% from a year ago. That's mostly driven by domestic airfares falling. And Raitt expects the trend to continue. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Odoo, provider of an all-in-one management platform with a suite of fully integrated applications designed to simplify and connect every aspect of business in one software. More at odoo.com. And by Bitwarden. The Bitwarden Password Manager enables quick and easy logins through biometric unlock and password autofill. More at bitwarden.com. And by the Glassdoor app, where professionals share advice and talk about work and life anonymously. Conversations are happening within companies and in thousands of communities on the new Glassdoor app.
By this weekend, the Barbie movie cracked $1 billion in global ticket sales. A senior Warner Brothers studio executive is quoted in the New York Times saying, "No movie has ever sold this many tickets this quickly." Director and co-writer Greta Gerwig can certainly write her own ticket now. And in the second largest movie market, China, only a few theaters were showing Barbie to start with, but it's becoming a sleeper hit there. Other U.S.-made films are coming back to theaters in China. We're joined now by Marketplace's Jennifer Pack in Shanghai. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, David.
One of the biggest complaints from Hollywood, as it tries to account for its declining success in China, is that the country restricts the number of films it brings in from overseas. What's the current situation?
So yes, the number of Hollywood films have steadily been on the decline since 2018, partly because of the U.S.-China tensions. By some estimates, the first half of 2018, there were some 60 plus imported films, mainly from Hollywood, shown in China. That dropped to 30 or so during the pandemic, but now it's picked up again in the first half of this year to 50.
Why do you think business there is picking up on the trajectory that you're seeing?
Well, to drive consumption. China's economic recovery has been quite sluggish after 3 years of the zero COVID policy.
Right, so ticket sales are economic activity, and maybe you go out to dinner on the same night that you go out to the movies. I mean, I guess it can be an engine for growth.
Definitely. The government wants people to spend right now.
And are the Hollywood films filling Chinese theaters?
Not as much as they used to. And there are a few factors, okay? First, as I've mentioned, there are the U.S.-China tensions. That has limited some big movies, like several Marvel films, from being screened. Also, domestic Chinese films, they are improving in terms of production, and also their storylines might cater more to the domestic Chinese audience. Lastly, Chinese moviegoers often tell me that Hollywood movies don't seem to be as good as they used to be.
So Barbie, Greta Gerwig's movie, as we speak, Jennifer, is in the top 5 Chinese box office. The latest Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is in the top 10. I mean, should I draw from that the conclusion that American-produced movies have turned a corner there?
That's hard to say. Barbie had a slow start in the Chinese box office, but it's steadily climbing up because the storyline just so happens to feed into this ongoing discussion in China about patriarchy, how women are being treated. So through word of mouth, you're seeing more and more people going to the movies. Like last weekend when I was there, groups of people were dressed in pink, some of them sneaking in champagne or wine bottles. Having said that, yes, Barbie is now in the top 5 position, but in terms of revenue, it's really lagging very far behind the other top 4, which are Chinese films.
The other big film here, right, is Oppenheimer. A lot of edgy themes. They're going to let it in there?
Yeah, they are. They're going to show it at the end of August.
Marketplace's China correspondent Jennifer Pack in Shanghai. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
And in New York, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. 8 p.m., American Public Media.